But being in schools and seeing the disproportionality and the achievement gaps that we've had and knowing the struggle, it's the reason we passed the racial equity policy here in JCPS, was to be one of the first districts to address many of those gaps and disproportionality we know that are out there. We want to change student outcomes dramatically. And so, I know I'm not surprised at the struggle. The speed at which it happened and built was a surprise to me. But no, I've had the sense that this was coming for a period of time. And this is a nationwide issue, this achievement gap that we have seen, and tackling that and making sure that our student outcomes for our students of color are dramatically increasing. And what we have now, we know just have been unacceptable. But I also have to credit our DEP, Diversity, Equity, and Poverty Department, and John Marshall, who when I first stepped into the position was talking about a racial equity policy. And there aren't many districts out there that have been willing. I think at that time, I don't know if any others have jumped on, but only about 10 to 12 districts across America really have had the courage to say these outcomes are unacceptable in policy and we're going to do something about that. We've been questioned by a lot of other large districts around America about how we had the courage to do that and step up and do it. And that can be controversial. And we've heard from others that they're going to see how it goes with us first before they're willing to jump in just because of the controversy. But we're so passionate about changing student outcomes, and especially for those that we've seen groups with gaps for many, many years. And you have to take bold action if you're going to make bold change. And I've learned this in this job very clearly over the past few years, that you have two options as a superintendent and my team. We can do little things and make incremental changes, or we can do big things, bold changes, and look for major changes in student outcomes. And we took that latter approach to it because we're just not, we will not accept our student outcomes the way they are now. Racial equity for us is a pillar, and when we say a pillar, that means it's infused in everything we do. So when we're talking about raising revenue and changing the facilities for our students, specifically in West Louisville, and all over this county, especially for students of color and students of poverty, we have to make a bold decision to do that many times is not popular. When we're talking about changing facilities that haven't been renovated in West Louisville and new facilities haven't been built in West Louisville in decades, that's a controversial decision to do that.
Do you think this, with what is happening now with this unrest, that people are maybe seeing things in a different lens, will help you with this message in any way?
I hope so. I really do. I mean, I believe there is the potential for that, and that's what we are going to work to do. Over 50% of our students in JCPS are students of color, and nearly 2/3 of our kids have free or reduced lunch. We have over 6,000 homeless students in Jefferson County, and many of those are the same student groups that overlap. And so when we talk about the importance of additional revenue for our students, we are talking about impacting those kids directly. There is no reason why that other districts around us, including Fayette County, are willing to support their student population, their kids in their community at a higher rate than here in Jefferson County. And so, I would challenge our community to say, if we want to make major changes, and I believe education is the foundation of it all. I wouldn't be in this profession if it wasn't for that. If we believe that to be true, then we need to invest in our community, and we need to invest in it right now. And this is the way for people to get on board and show they want to make a difference by supporting us in this work. We need to provide a much broader perspective of history. Not just a European view of history, but a much broader perspective of history that can come through our content standards and broadening that understanding for teachers K through 8. It can be increasing the amount of African American history classes in our high schools, and we're working hard to influence that in the SBDMs at the school level. But it's also for all kids, because research is clear. When students see themselves in their curriculum, student achievement increases. I have a lot of hope, and I do believe, I've always believed, I was a social studies teacher, United States history teacher, and I believe that in crisis, in challenge comes opportunity. And I said that when we were in the coronavirus crisis, and still are, and I say that about this as well. Change doesn't happen without some type of unrest or crisis.